Hello friends, today we will talk about retrospective, and here is the agenda for our today's session. We will talk about retrospective, what is retrospective is all about, the principle, the fundamentals behind the ceremony called retrospective. We will talk about a retrospective structure, a way of organizing retrospective meetings to make them more effective and more productive. Then we will talk about retrospective activities. These are the activities which helps us to gather thoughts from the participants. And then we will talk about a facilitator role of retrospective, like a facilitating retrospective. And at the end, we will talk about type of retrospectives, because we have a retrospectives at sprint end, we have a retrospective at release end, we have a retrospective at project end. So we will talk about what's difference between sprint, project and release retrospectives. So what is retrospective? Retrospective is a ritual held at the end of project, sprint or release end to learn from the experience and to adapt to change the plan for the next effort. In general, traditionally we have been conducting lesson learned meeting. Now lesson learned meetings we used to conduct at the end of the project or at a milestone level. Now conducting a lesson learned meeting at the end of the project does not give us opportunity to adapt or learn the lesson for our current project work. Now retrospecting, especially the sprint retrospectives, are done at the end of a sprint, and we learn from our sprint experience so we can make our next sprint more enjoyable and productive. Purpose of retrospective. Now we spoke about empirical process, and empirical process has three legs or three pillars for controlling the empirical process: transparency, inspection and adaptation. And retrospective is a ceremony which helps us in inspecting and adapting. This is a ceremony, this is an event where we look back on how rather than on what. What does it mean? We look back how well we executed the work. We look back to our processes. We look back to our way of working rather than the product only which we have produced. The product review happens at the sprint review meeting or an iteration review meeting, and retrospective is a place where we review our process, our method of converting requirement into running software, and we identify what should we do differently to make our upcoming sprints more enjoyable. Now it's a thought exercise, like what went well, what we learn, what can we improve, what is still puzzling us, what should we do differently. So it is a thought exercise where we reflect on our sprint experience. We try to analyze what went well, what should we improve, what is still puzzling us, what all problems we still need to solve. And as I said in a previous slide, it's a inspection and adaptation exercise. And since the empirical process is controlled by inspection only, the retrospective thought exercise is a very crucial exercise. Now, since we are talking about what went well and what didn't, it raises a risk of generating a negative or productive environment in the team. So in retrospective meetings, some team member may start identifying the issues with the other members, and they try to start protecting their behavior during the previous sprint. So it's a very sensitive meeting, and the scrum master, the person who is conducting this meeting, should create an environment where people feel free to discuss their feeling. And the environment can be created if we believe in retrospective prime directive. It is like, regardless of what we discover, we understand and truly believe that everyone did the best job they could. So we as a group first appreciate, we first respect everybody's contribution in the project, and because whatever the person has done during the sprint, he could have, we believe in his ability, we believe that that was the best thing he could do given the situation, given the skills, given the resource available to him. Now, as a team, now we all need to look back and identify what could we do to make our future sprints, future iterations more effective, more productive. So this prime directive helps us to generate a confidence, generate a trust in individuals, and make them aware about that this is not a fault finding exercise, this is not a blaming exercise, this is an exercise where we want to identify the improvement areas so as a team we can grow to the next level. Now, retrospective structure helps us in organizing the retrospective meeting in a format where it can be controlled and the maximum output can be generated out of retrospective meeting. It's a simple structure, as similar to any group thinking meeting. We start with the agenda. So the first stage is set the stage. So set the stage is a stage where we set the environment, set the ground rule, set the agenda, identify what we are planning to do in a next time box. And the second stage is gather data. We gather the facts and figures, we gather the information from the events, and after gathering that data, we start analyzing it. So third stage is generate insight. So we start with the set the stage. After that, we start gathering data. The second stage is gather data. Third stage is generate insight. In the generate insight, we try to analyze patterns in the data and identify root causes, identify actions which we can take to improve the situation. And the fourth stage, decide what to do. So during the generate insight, we may generate a lot of action items, but looking at the time available, looking at the resource available, we may not find in all those action items can be taken in an upcoming sprint. So in a decide what to do, we prioritize what all actions, what all items can give us maximum output, can return into a maximum enhancement or improvement in our work environment. And then the fifth stage, we close the retrospective. So in a closing the retrospective, we do a retrospective of retrospective meeting. We identify how the meeting was conducted, what all we can do to improve the retrospective meeting itself, and we conclude the meeting. So these are the 5 stages: set the stage, gather data, generate insight, decide what to do, close the retrospective. From PMI ACP exam point of view, you all must remember all these 5 stages and also remember what all we do in these stages. Now, having a structure is helpful because structure helps us in understanding a different point of view. It allows of different people to speak, to share their mind. It helps us to give a direction to the discussion, because like if we do not have the structure, maybe the few of the people all start directly from generating insight. They may pick a small information and they start analyzing the root cause of it, where the others are still figuring out what information is getting depicted by the burn down chart. So having a structure helps people to follow a structured thinking process. And it also helps us to take a comprehensive view of a team's current methods and practice. Set the stage, first activity for a retrospective meeting. Here we decide what going to be the time box for the retrospective meeting. If we talk about sprint retrospective, from Scrum we do have a recommendation that for a 30-day sprint, the retrospective should be time box to 3 hours. Now in general, for a release and project retrospective, we still need to identify the time box of retrospective. We need to identify the goals, approach, ground rules. We need to reconvey, reinitiate, reaffirm the team values. And then a Scrum Master and facilitator should also propose an agenda. Now, as a facilitator, you are just proposing an agenda, but you need to take an acceptance from your team members that do they want to talk about this particular agenda. If they don't want to talk about it, they are okay. It's okay to change the agenda. But whatever we agree at this particular stage, that we follow in the subsequent stages. Now once we are done with set the stage, we need to gather data. Gathered data helps us in creating a shared picture of what has happened. Now, in absence of, people may have their window view of the Scrum events, window view of a project events. The gathered data helps us to look at the bigger picture, because say if I'm a programmer, I may be only worried about the build failures, but the gathered data, if I see issues in a release burndown chart, I may start thinking about that issue, because that is like a higher priority issues than a particular build failure. So the gathered data helps us to create and share perception of the event, of the matrices we have in our sprint. So gather data, what helps, like what kind of data you need to gather? You need to gather the data of events, the events which has happened in the retrospective duration like a meeting, decisions, change in team membership, some milestones you have achieved, celebrations, new technology selected, whatever event has happened in the retrospective duration, the data, the information about or reminding about those events will help. And the matrices. So matrices talking about the sprint or a retrospective duration, showing the burn down of that duration, velocity, defects, trends, stories, completion status, amount of hours spent, the variance between the estimated ideal hours and say spent hours. Those kind of matrices helps us in creating a shared perspective. So in a gathered data, we have yet to start discussing or analyzing the data. We are just collecting the important event and matrices for the retrospective duration. So retrospective duration, when I say, is that for the period for which we are doing the retrospective. Now, once we are done with the data, what to do next? Start analyzing it. So generate data is a step where we dig deep into the data. We start identifying the conditions, the interactions, the patterns, and the causes of those effects. We start investigating what kind of breakdowns are happening, what kind of deficiencies we have, what risk do we feel are there for upcoming iterations and releases. So generate insight is a step where we start analyzing the data which we have gathered. During gathered data, we start doing root cause analysis. We start identifying what all factors are creating these kind of effects. We also start identifying the patterns, like you may see a pattern of defect, like defects of a particular module is showing increasing or decreasing trend. So those kind of trends, those kind of patterns get analyzed in a step called generate insight. And the output of generate insight, we identify the root causes, we identify the action items. Now, since we may have a good amount of improvement actions which team thinks should be taken in account, but we have a limited resources, we have a limited time, so we need to identify some big ticket items, or we need to prioritize the items which can add the maximum value to the team, to the process. So to make team more effective, we need to prioritize some of the important actions which we think that can be done in an upcoming sprint. And once prioritized, we need to include those action items, those preventive action into a sprint backlog. Now, if we talk about traditional language, corrective and preventive actions are getting identified during generate insight, and in decide what to do, we are prioritizing which all corrective and preventive actions we want to implement in our upcoming sprint. And we should always remember, if we don't decide anything to do, it is a waste of time, and the retrospective which does not generate any actions and becomes the goal of retrospective starts getting diluted, and they become too ineffective, and they are very dangerous for complete empirical process implementation, because retrospective is an essential lag which is helping us in inspecting the processes. And so we must get some improvement actions, some actions from our decide what to do stage. And once we are done with with the analysis, once we have prioritized our action item, we may want to take we may want to record some of our discussions, some of our brainstormings which we did during our retrospective meeting. So taking a photographs or storing those information in a format which can helps us during the next retrospective is always good, because in the next retrospective we want to look back and see this particular information as a gathered data or as a data to think about the actions which we have taken in a previous sprint. We also need to appreciate the work which team has done during the sprint, especially during the retrospective meeting. And we also need to do a retrospective meeting. In a closer, we discuss how well we conducted this retrospective meeting, what all we should do in our next retrospective meeting to make this retrospective meeting more enjoyable and more effective. Third agenda item, retrospective activities. Retrospective activities helps us in encouraging the participation. They encourage people to participate, because without having effective activities, retrospective meetings may get hijacked by few of the good speakers, and rest of the people may keep wondering, or they may even don't speak about it. So these are the activities. The activities for retrospective should be designed, should be identified by the retrospective facilitator, and the goal of these activities are to generate a good group thinking process, to capture the thoughts of the group. So nothing specific to Agile, it's a pure group thinking activity. As per the various stages, the facilitator introduces the activities. He may add any activity which facilitates the participation, which triggers the thought process in individuals, which generates the conversation. And these are the activities are performed for this particular goal. Now, for various stages, we can use a different type of activities as per the stage goal. So for example, initially we talk about to set the stage. So when we are setting the stage, we need to identify, we need to agree on agenda. So while agreeing on agenda, we can use an activity called focus on, focus off. So focus on, focus off talks about, like in a particular meeting, what all items we want to focus more. For example, we will focus more on dialogue rather than debate. We focus more on conversation rather than argument. So it is like as a group, we decide what all elements we should focus more during the retrospective meeting. So it's an activity which helps us to identify focus items and identify the items which team should not be focusing too much. Now, explorer, shopper, vacational, prisoner, this activity helps us to identify the mood of participants. So this activity helps, like who all are here to explore about the retrospective duration, to explore what all can be done to improve the next sprint or next release. Now, explorers are the people who says that they are explorer, means they are very excited about this particular meeting, and they want to know what all they can and identify what all they can extract from this particular meeting, so they can make the next duration more enjoyable and productive. The shoppers are they are not that excited, but they are okay. They will see whatever comes to their eyes. They are here to analyze and observe whatever happens in the meeting, and if they like something, they may pick one or two items which can help them in making the second or subsequent iterations or sprints more effective. Vacationers are a type or a mood. If you are in a vacationer mood, you are just here because it's good to sit here rather than doing something else. So you are sitting in a meeting because you just want to relax, you don't want to do something else. So you are here, you are just physically present here, and you are here to just spend your time. The prisoners, if you are in a prisoner's attitude, it means that you are just prisoner of this meeting. You don't want to sit here, but since it is mandated by Scrum and Agile, you just have to sit and you have to just remain as a prisoner for 3 hours, and after that you will feel good once the meeting is done. So now getting the mood in these 4 categories, you can get an anonymous voting, or you can have a mechanism where everybody write their mood in a sticky note, and then you collect and identify how many explorer do you have in this particular meeting, how many shoppers, vacationers, and prisoners do you have in this particular meeting. So it gives as a retrospective facilitator an idea about the target audience, about the participants, their mood and expectation from this particular meeting. Now, once we set the stage, we are at gather data. Now in the gather data, we need to have activities which facilitates us to gather the information from various people. So now the activity which are in gather data are the one which helps or which facilitates collecting information. Since we want to just collect more and more information, so the subsequent generate insight can be done in a better way. So gather data, the first activity could be timeline. So if the duration for which the retrospective has been done is long, then timeline may be the very suitable activity to gather data. In a timeline, we plot a timeline and identify various events, various milestones which we have achieved during that particular timeline, and we encourage people to write about their memories, their thought process, their events, and as per the timeline. And the output of a timeline would be, we have a chart plotted against the time, and people have shared their events, their memories is as per the timeline. So once that is ready, we can during the generate insight, we can talk in detail about those events. So timeline is an activity which also helps in gathering data, and after that it also helps in generating insight, because we can have a good amount of discussion on the diagram which got plotted during the gather data in a timeline format. The other activity could be mad, sad, glad. In this, we ask our participants to identify the events, the experiences which are making them mad, and sad or glad. Then we collect those information and then we organize it at a visible area, and then during the subsequent stages, we can discuss those elements and generate insight about it, or we may pick some of them to analyze them further. Team radar. Similarly, we capture the team's feeling on some of the essential value, and okay, it is like that we think that adaptation on sustainable pace, technical excellence. So these were the 3 essential values which team has agreed on from a while, or from previous retrospective, or from the beginning of the project. Now we try to identify where do we stand. So we ask the team member to vote on these 5 or 3 dimensions, and on the basis of their vote, they may vote between 0 to 5. On the basis of the number, we plot a diagram which represents the team's thought process, team's feeling about the progress which we have made on these 3 essential values which team has thought of or started focusing on. So they may identify that we are doing good in technical excellence, but we are doing bad in sustainable pace, and this helps to extract feeling of team members on various essential values or on various parameters. Generate insight. Now that third stage of our retrospective, we started with set the stage, gather data, and generate insight. So generate insight, this particular stage is primarily focused on analyzing the events, the patterns which get exposed, which get presented during the gather data. And brainstorming is one of the popularly used technique for generating insight. In the brainstorming technique, people can start talking about various elements which they find and are essential. For example, if we have collected the feeling on the basis of good, say mad, glad, sad, and then we start brainstorming on the feelings of a particular type, then the people can start talking about it in a round robin, in a random manner. That could be that could be the one method of doing brainstorming. The second method could be that in order to facilitate, in order to manage the conversation, we may introduce an instrument called talking token. So this could be any pen or any visible physical instrument. So whoever holds that token can only speak, and if somebody wants to speak, he needs to first request for the token. So that helps in creating an environment where we can enforce the ground rule of at a one time only one person would be speaking and rest has to listen him first before they start giving their opinion. So that's one instrument which we can introduce in brainstorming meeting to make it more effective. The third method which we can introduce in brainstorming meeting is that we introduce an element of Delphi technique. So in this, we give individuals a time, say 5 to 7 minutes, to think about a problem and write those problem on a sticky note or on a notepad. And once they are done with it, we may use method 1 or method 2, like they start speaking about it randomly or by using a talking token. The another famous activity to generate insight is fishbone analysis, or 5Y fishbone, or combination of 5Y with fishbone analysis. The fishbone analysis is same traditional analysis where we identify the causes of effect. So if we have an effect like more escaped effects are coming, we put a 5Y, why this is coming, why, and we try to get the root cause of these escaped effects. We can also have a force field analysis. It's an analysis which says it's a type of analysis where we identify what all factors are contributing. For example, if we want to analyze why our velocity is going down, so force field analysis is like that. We identify what all factors, what all forces are contributing or facilitating or conductive to the velocity, and what all forces or items or elements are resistive for the velocity. So force field analysis is a way of analyzing the conductive and resistive factor for a given reason or a given effect. So these are the activities which we can use to generate insight. So once we have a trend which got identified, we try to do a root cause analysis, and to do the root cause analysis we can use 5Ys, fishbone, or force field analysis. Now once we are done with our root cause analysis, we need to decide what to do, and decide what to do is primarily dealing with the prioritization. So we can have a dot based prioritization where we write various actions, various possible steps which we should take, and we let the team to give a dot vote on actions, and we pick the items the one which gets the maximum number of votes. So we can do a prioritization with dots. We can also have a smart activity where we identify the action. Once we have prioritization, we try to identify the action in a smart format. So specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So we try to identify the action in a smart format, so it helps us in implementing the action which we have identified. And once we are done with the retrospective, we want to close it. So in a closing also we can use various activities. So plus and delta is an activity which helps us doing retrospective on retrospective, like we identify what all we should add and what all we should change. So in our retrospective meeting, so we discuss like what all we want to include in our subsequent retrospectives and what all we want to deviate from or change in our subsequent retrospective meeting. We should do appreciation. So we appreciate the team for putting the hard work for doing a great retrospective. We can also follow another activity called temperature reading. This temperature reading is a activity which takes a view or try to measure the emotions of the group. So once we are done with the retrospective, what team is feeling. So rather than just only focusing on actions, so by using a temperature reading, we can get a feeling of the team. And the fourth one, return on time invested. This is an activity which tries to measure the effectiveness of the retrospective. We try to measure, like we have spent 3 time boxed hours in retrospective, but what all we have achieved, so what all returns we have got on from these 3 hours. So this activity helps us in focusing or creating more productive retrospectives. So in the subsequent section, we will talk about facilitator or a facilitating retrospective. So role of a facilitator in a retrospective meetings. So facilitator first need to do a preparation. He needs to identify the room, generate a meeting request, identify or collect all the required data or matrices which will facilitate team members to generate ideas. He should also prepare the material. For example, if you want to do an activity which requires good amount of paper, so the facilitator has a role to arrange and collect all this preparatory material. And the facilitator also facilitates the meeting. So he leads the meeting, he sets the agenda, and during the meeting he facilitates the complete retrospective. He enforces the time box, he ensures that people are adhering to the ground rules which they have agreed during the initial stage of, or during the set the stage of retrospective. So in a preparation, you need to find a right topic or a relevant topic for the retrospective. You can have a focused retrospective. You need to identify, as a facilitator, usually the Scrum Master or Agile Coach, you need to identify the exercise which you want to do in this particular retrospective. You need to prepare the room and prepare the material. Now, when you are facilitating the retrospective, it is always recommended to have a facilitator and team member role as a separate role. For example, the people who are participating in a retrospective should not facilitate it. So if you are a facilitator, you should not participate in it. You should not put your opinion, your observations in the retrospective discussions till the time you are playing a facilitator role. In case you want to have your if you have a strong view or you want to discuss some of the areas which you feel are important, then for that particular duration you should give the facilitated role to someone else, because it's a good idea to keep these roles separate, because if you merge them, it may end up like, since you are the facilitator and you are also participating in the retrospective, it may happen that you are the one who is speaking the most. As a facilitator, we should know how to handle different personality, how to handle different culture. People from different background and different characteristics may behave differently in retrospective meeting. The people who are very shy or very safe, like they don't want to raise a point which can harm or which can be seen by some negative, which can be seen in a negative light by a fellow team member. So you should be clear about like what kind of personalities you have in your team, and you should design the activities or you should design the conversation which generates the maximum insight from different personality or depending upon their personalities. And you should also handle the attitudes. So we should enforce that people should talk in the language of I. They should focus on what they would have done differently, which could have impacted, or or what they want to do differently, which can create the sprint experience more enjoyable, rather than using a language where person is talking about what the other person should do to create the enjoyable environment or a productive environment for that next sprint or next iteration. So as a facilitator, you should try to bring an attitude where people talk about their contribution or their problems rather than somebody else's problem. Now the last section, types of. In general, if you talk about Scrum framework, we have a sprint retrospective. So in Scrum ceremonies, you have a sprint retrospective as an essential ceremony which happens at the end of the sprint. this is the final or a last ceremony of the sprint, and once you are done with the sprint retrospective, you get into the second iteration or second sprint and start with the sprint planning meeting. So the definition of sprint retrospective is a meeting time boxed for 3 hours. So 3-hour time box is applicable for 30 days sprint or a 30 calendar days iteration. And the sprint retrospective is facilitated by Scrum Master, and this is primarily meant for team, because in here the team discusses the just concluded sprint and determine what could be changed that might make the next sprint more enjoyable and productive. So in Scrum, the sprint retrospective is primarily meant for team, facilitated by the Scrum Master and time boxed for 3 hours, and team has to reflect how to make the next sprint more enjoyable or productive. Quick rules. So time box to 3 hours, attended by the team, the Scrum Master and product owner. So product owner is an optional attendee. So team is the focused attendee or a stakeholder for this particular meeting, and facilitated by Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is not there to provide the answers but to facilitate. So it should not happen that team is complaining to Scrum Master. It's not a forum where Scrum Master is available to collect the complaints or collect the issues or collect the negative feelings of the team members. Scrum Master is there to facilitate the interaction, so team finds their own solution. He is not there to hear the complaint and give the solution. It is the team responsibility for they need to search a better way for following the Scrum process, which can make their next sprint productive and enjoyable. And action items added to the next sprint should be devised as a high priority non-functional item. So the action items which we identify during the retrospective should become the part of next sprint sprint backlog as a high priority non-functional items. Now, sometimes you conduct release and project retrospective. So release and project retrospectives are different from a sprint retrospectives because they are done for the longer duration. And in these retrospectives, you also invite people who are not part of your regular team, because the release and project deals with a bigger stakeholders, and the release or a project retrospective may be facilitated by a coach from another team or by some other stakeholder who is not the Scrum Master of that particular team. And it may include a cross-organizational perspectives, because if you are doing a vendor customer project, so you may have people from a customer also participating in your project. So this is not on-site customer, the purchaser. So you may have a people who represents the purchaser or the sponsor in this particular meeting. So this is what we wanted to discuss about retrospective. We spoke about what is retrospective. So retrospective is a ceremony where we reflect on our previous sprint or release or project duration, and we identify what we do to make it more effective, more productive for our upcoming duration. Retrospective structure helps us in organizing the retrospective meeting. We have 5 stages: set the stage, gather data, generate insight, decide what to do, close. And these stages helps to conduct retrospective. It also helps in encouraging the participation from all the team members. Now, retrospective activities, for all the stages we can have activities which facilitates gathering or collecting the views from various participants. As a facilitator, we need to be careful about that the sprint retrospective is facilitated by Scrum Master, and the project retrospective, release retrospectives are facilitated by a coach or a Scrum Master from other team. And facilitator has a role to play for the facilitation of the retrospective. If he wants to contribute, he should transfer his role of a facilitation to someone else for that much duration. And we spoke about types of retrospective, sprint retrospective and project and release retrospectives. Quick recap. Retrospective helps in inspecting and adaptive. So 2 pillars of empirical process, and we have a pillars like transparency, inspection and adaptation, and retrospective helps in inspecting and adapting. Because we inspect, we do an audit. So whenever we think of auditing, risk audit, quality audit, in Agile, all audit happens in retrospective meeting. So we inspect, we do audit of process of how, and then we identify what all actions we should take to make our experience better. So when do we do sprint retrospective? At the end of sprint and before the next sprint planning meeting. Why? Why before the next sprint planning meeting? Because we may identify some of the actions which needs to be taken care, which needs to be planned in an upcoming sprint. So if we are done with the retrospective, we can add these items in a planning. Who facilitates the sprint retrospective meeting? Scrum Master. Who all attend sprint retrospective? Team, Scrum Master and Product Owner. Product Owner is an optional member. So what is the goal of generating insight stage? So what is the goal of generate insight stage? Insight, investigate the data and identify trends and issues. So in gather data, we gather the events and matrices, and in a generate insight, we focus on those matrices and events, and we identify what are the root causes, what are the trend, what are the patterns exist in this particular data set. So we are done with our lesson retrospective. Thank you.